A couple of days ago we brought you a video talking about the history of Juggernaut, one of the most iconic enemies of the X-Men. Now, it is time to talk about the being responsible for creating this villain and those who exercise his power. Doctor Strange and Juggernaut may not have much in common, but both the Sorcerer Supreme and this powerful being receive their powers from the dark god Cyttorak. From his home in the Crimson Cosmos, the all-powerful dark deity has used his power to transform heroes and villains alike into unstoppable giants who unleash destruction in his name. Cyttorak existed as a built-in presence throughout the Marvel Universe long before he basically appeared. For example, Doctor Strange summoned Cyttorak when he used the Crimson Bands of Cyttorak for the first time in Strange Tales number 124. Although he summoned Cyttorak to help him free a possessed woman in that story, Strange usually uses this spell to ensnare his enemies with nearly unbreakable ribbons of energy. Cyttorak was mentioned again in Uncanny X-Men number 12 when Cain Marko, Professor X's half-brother, claimed Cyttorak's Crimson Gem. The gem transformed Marko into the Juggernaut, his underworld avatar, and granted him unlimited strength. The deity made its official debut in Doctor Strange, Sorcerer Supreme number 44, where we see that the entity has an appearance similar to a sorcerer, which guarded its characteristic gem. According to legends, 1,000 years ago, Cyttorak participated in the wager of Octessence, a competition between himself, Watum, Valtor, Balthak, Tharala, Icon, Kraken, and Ragador, to determine which of them was the most powerful. Each created a magical artifact that turned the first human who touched them into their avatars. These humans, called exemplars, would conquer humanity and fight each other to the death until only one was left standing. The avatar of whoever was left standing would be the winner. Cyttorak created the Crimson Gem as his artifact and placed it in his temple in what would one day become Korea, guarded by a demon named Zorak. He was eventually banished to the Crimson Cosmos, a timeless dimension where he is all-powerful and worshipped by the Cyttora race. Although Juggernaut and the Avengers eventually stopped the competition, Cyttorak's avatar would have fought the avatars of the other gods to prove which deity was the strongest in a battle that would destroy the world. Juggernaut is Cyttorak's main agent on Earth, where he stands as the physical representation of the god's power. Although not the first to wield the power of the Crimson Gem, Cain Marko has been Cyttorak's longest-lasting avatar, having assumed the mantle of Juggernaut several times. After Marko discovered Cyttorak's ruby inside a temple, Cyttorak's power transformed him into a human Juggernaut, as the god's temple collapsed around him. Still resenting Xavier for his tense family history, Cain used Cyttorak's power to excavate the temple ruins and attacked his half-brother with his new powers. In addition to offering unlimited strength, Cyttorak's power makes Juggernaut immortal and invulnerable, along with mystical armor that protects him from most physical damage. Additionally, when Juggernaut first encountered the X-Men, his helmet protected him from Xavier's telepathic powers. However, Cain was ultimately defeated when the X-Men removed his helmet with the help of the Human Torch. Frequently working with his friend and criminal partner Black Tom Cassidy, Juggernaut has battled heroes such as the X-Men, Spider-Man, Thor, Hulk, and Deadpool on numerous occasions. Marko eventually reconciled with Xavier and occasionally joined heroic teams such as the X-Men, Excalibur, and the Thunderbolts. However, Cyttorak admonished Marko for using Juggernaut's power for selfless reasons rather than his destructive purposes, thus greatly reducing Cain's powers. He did not regain his full power until World War Hulk, where he agreed to carry out Cyttorak's orders in exchange for obtaining the power necessary to confront the Hulk. After Cain lost Cyttorak's powers, the deity selected Colossus to be his new avatar. During the events of Fear itself, Marko came into contact with an enchanted hammer created by the serpent, Odin's brother. The power of the hammer corrupted Cain and transformed him into Kurth, the destroyer of stones. When Colossus and his sister Magic informed Cyttorak about this, Cyttorak took Juggernaut's powers from Marko and gave them to Peter Rasputin instead. Despite his gentle nature, Colossus reveled in the immense power he gained as the new Juggernaut and constantly struggled to mitigate Cyttorak's demonic influence. During his time as Juggernaut, Colossus joined a part of the Phoenix Force, along with several other X-Men. Hoping to free himself from Cyttorak's influence, Colossus approached the Dark God and revealed that he had become an avatar of the Phoenix. Unexpectedly, Cyttorak told Colossus that he had no problem with him using the powers of Juggernaut and the Phoenix, due to the amount of destruction he caused members harboring both gifts. After Cyttorak called Colossus his favorite avatar, the X-Man attacked Cyttorak with his Phoenix power, only to be pushed aside and sent back to Earth. Colossus and Magic finally broke free of the Phoenix's power after a fight between the two. Long-standing tensions between Colossus and Magic came to a head when Ileana revealed that she had allowed Cyttorak to give her power to Colossus to help him understand what it felt like to be cursed, driving a lasting wedge into her relationship. Eventually, she transported Colossus to Limbo and severed his connection to Cyttorak, proving that she could break the curse anytime she wanted. After the living monolith briefly wielded Juggernaut's power, Cyttorak turned Cain Marko into Juggernaut again. Later, in X-Men Black, Juggernaut attacked the X-Men in a misguided attempt to avenge Xavier's death, and Cyttorak helped Marko unlock the full extent of his power. Shortly after that, Marko lost his Juggernaut powers in a battle with Magic when she crushed the Crimson Gem. After a disciple of Cyttorak forged the Crimson Bands of Cyttorak into a physical object, Marko found them and used them to regain his powers. With his power now coming from the gangs instead of Cyttorak, Marko faced the Dark God and vowed to never work for him again. Since the Crimson Gem had been crushed, Juggernaut absorbed its remains and told Cyttorak that he was completely separated from Earth. From that point on, Juggernaut found a home on Krakoa where he served alongside Nightcrawler's legionnaires. During Sins of Sinister we learned about an alternate future where Cyttorak turned Emma Frost into his new avatar. In the Sins of Sinister timeline, Emma Frost, Professor X, Hope Summers, and Exodus were corrupted by Mr. Sinister. After Sinister attacked and killed Krakoa's mutant leaders, they were resurrected with a large dose of Sinister's personality inserted into them. By manipulating the Silent Council and replacing them with his loyal agents, Sinister managed to conquer the world. He even manipulated the Juggernaut to serve as an unstoppable bullet that killed Thanos. Over the course of a millennium, the mutant leaders corrupted by Sinister began to feud and each created their own sector of space. Now called the Empress of the Red Diamond, Emma Frost ruled her empire as the living gem of Cyttorak. Apparently enchanted by his former ally and Hellord Sebastian Shaw, Frost's diamond form contains the power of Cyttorak, distinguished by its ruby-red appearance. In addition to commanding corrupted versions of Beast and the Cuckoos, Emma rules the Namronauts, loyal soldiers who gain the unstoppable power of Juggernaut by kissing his hand. Just as it did in the distant past and modern era of the Marvel Universe, Cyttorak's power fuels one of the most dangerous forces in the dark future of Sins of Sinister. As such, Cyttorak possesses enormous magical power. Often, various wizards and sorcerers invoke their powers to carry out their spells. Likewise, their avatars have shown to have enormous physical power that allows them to rival beings like Thor and the Hulk. For now, that's all for this video. We hope that, in some future, Marvel continues to expand the story of Cyttorak because he really is an extremely powerful deity about which we do not know much. If you are fans of Juggernaut, remember that this character will be part of the new lineup of the main X-Men so you don't miss his new adventures.